Okay, and another interesting shootout today. On the left we've got a Apple MacBook Pro with an M1 chip and 8 gigs of RAM, and on the right we've got our Win3 device, which has an i7, 11th gen i7 and 16 gigs of RAM. So without further ado, let's get stuck in and see how we get on. And I'm going to give you the Apple MacBook Pro first, and followed by the Win3. So off the blocks we've got 24% processor use for the MacBook and 16% processor use for the Win3. So I guess this test is always going to be skewed in favour of Windows machines, because FL Studio was developed for Windows and then ported to Mac. But having said that, it works perfectly fine on Macs, but performance is not obviously as optimal as it is for Windows. Now looking at 23% processor for the MacBook and 14% processor use for the Win3 device. We're starting to get towards the faster section, which has a higher processor count. 26, 27 for the MacBook, 20 for the Win3 device. And let's see what happens when it starts kicking off here. It's always interesting. 26, 27% for the MacBook and 24% for the Win3. So the Win3 having to work harder than it was before, but still less hard than the MacBook Pro has to. Now 29% for the MacBook Pro against 24%, 25% for the Win3 device. So not much in it, but the Win3 device having to work less hard in terms of its processor performance. So let's stop it there. I think we've probably seen enough. So both very different devices. If you like MacBooks, then this shows that you can run FL Studio perfectly well. But if you want an optimal, if you want maximum processor performance use, you're probably better going with a Windows device. This one, the Win3, is about 3 years old now. I think there's a Win4 device now which has a better processor. But it has to be said, the i7, 11th gen i7, is still a decent spec processor. There's plenty of power there, as proved in this test. And you can run pretty much anything, I think, on this Win3 device. And on the go, perfectly usable. I think you'd probably want a small mouse just so you can identify things properly, although you can touch things with your finger as well. Because the screen is so small, it's quite tricky. And then obviously for your studio use, you plug a larger monitor in the back as well. Anyway, I'm starting to blabber, as I usually do. Thanks very much for your time. Hope you've enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a like, or give the video a like rather. Give me a like as well if you like. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Bye-bye.